Stoicism is designed to make us more resilient, happier, more virtuous, and wiser, ultimately shaping us into better people, parents, and professionals. In this guide, we offer 9 Stoic rules, exercises that changed many people's lives for the better. Stay with us until the end and make these rules useful to improve your own life and the lives around you. First, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus once wrote, "The chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where then do I look for good and evil, not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself to the choices that are my own?" The most crucial practice in Stoic philosophy is differentiating between what we can change and what we can't, recognizing what we have influence over and what we do not. If a flight is delayed due to weather, yelling at the airline won't end the storm. No amount of wishing will change our height or birthplace. We can't force someone to like us. Time spent on these immovable objects is time not spent on what we can change. Reflect on this question daily in every difficult situation. Journal and ponder it constantly. By focusing on what is within our control and what is not, we will be happier and gain a distinct advantage over those who fight unwinnable battles. Second, journaling. Brand Blanchard once says, "Few care now about the marches and countermarches of the Roman commanders. What the centuries have clung to is a notebook of thoughts by a man whose real life was largely unknown, who put down in the midnight dimness not the events of the day or the plans of the morrow, but something of far more permanent interest, the ideals and aspirations that a rare spirit lived by." Epictetus the slave, Marcus Aurelius the emperor, Seneca the power broker and playwright. These 3 men led vastly different lives but shared a habit: journaling. Epictetus urged his students to write down their thoughts daily, viewing this practice as essential to their philosophical exercise. Seneca preferred journaling in the evenings, reflecting on his day after his wife had gone to sleep. He believed this self-examination made his sleep particularly sweet. Marcus Aurelius, the most prolific of the 3, left us his journals titled Tais Eafton, to himself. In Stoicism, journaling is more than a diary. It's a daily practice that embodies the philosophy. It prepares us for the day ahead, reflects on the day past, and reinforces the wisdom we've learned. We don't just hear lessons once, we practice them repeatedly, turning them over in our minds, writing them down, and feeling them flow through our fingers. Stoicism is a practice and a routine. It's not a philosophy we read once and understand deeply. It requires lifelong diligence, repetition, and concentration. In this way, journaling is integral to Stoicism. It's almost impossible to have one without the other. Third, practice misfortune. Seneca once wrote, "It is in times of security that the spirit should be preparing itself for difficult times, while fortune is bestowing favors on it, is the time for it to be strengthened against her rebuffs." Seneca, who enjoyed great wealth as Nero's advisor, suggested setting aside a few days each month to practice poverty. Eat simple food, wear your worst clothes, and leave the comfort of your home and bed. Face want directly and ask yourself, is this what I used to dread? This exercise is not rhetorical. It means living through misfortune, not just thinking about it. Comfort is a dangerous kind of slavery because we fear losing it. But if we practice misfortune, chance loses its power to disrupt our lives. Emotions like anxiety and fear stem from uncertainty, not experience. Anyone who has taken a big risk knows how much energy these states consume. The solution is to confront that ignorance. Familiarize yourself with the worst-case scenarios you fear. Practice what you fear, either through mental simulation or real-life experience. The downside is almost always reversible or temporary. Fourth, train perceptions. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." The Stoics had an exercise called turning the obstacle upside down. The goal was to make it impossible not to practice philosophy. By turning a problem upside down, every bad becomes a new source of good. If we try to help someone and they respond negatively, they direct us toward new virtues like patience or understanding. The death of a loved one becomes becomes a chance to show fortitude. Marcus Aurelius put it this way: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. A Stoic turns every obstacle into an opportunity. For practicing Stoics, there is no good or bad, only perception. We control perception and can choose to look beyond first impressions. If we tie our initial response to dispassion, we'll see that everything is simply an opportunity. Fifth, remember, it's all ephemeral. Marcus Aurelius wrote, Alexander the Great and his mule driver both died, and the same thing happened to both. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself a simple and effective reminder to help him regain perspective and stay balanced. Run down the list of those who felt intense anger at something. The most famous, the most unfortunate, the most hated, the most whatever. Where is all that now? Smoke, dust, legend, or not even a legend. Think of all the examples and how trivial the things we want so passionately are. It's important to note that passion here isn't the modern sense of enthusiasm or caring. When the Stoics talk about overcoming passions, pathei, they mean irrational, unhealthy, and excessive desires and emotions. Anger is a prime example. Crucially, they aim to replace these with eupathei, like joy, instead of excessive pleasure. The point of this exercise is simple. Remember how small we are. Remember how small most everything is. Achievements are ephemeral, and our possession of them is fleeting. If everything is ephemeral, what truly matters? Right now matters. Being a good person and doing the right thing right now, these were the Stoics' priorities. Take Alexander the Great. He conquered the known world and had cities named after him. But once, while drunk, he fought with his dearest friend, Clytus, and accidentally killed him. He was so despondent afterward that he couldn't eat or drink for 3 days. Sophists from all over Greece tried to help, but to no avail. Is this the mark of a successful life? It matters little if our name is emblazoned on a map, if we lose perspective and hurt those around us. Learn from Alexander's mistake. Be humble, honest, and aware. These qualities are ours every single day. We never have to fear someone taking them from us, or worse, them taking over us. Sixth, take the view from above. Marcus Aurelius once wrote how beautifully Plato put it. Whenever you want to talk about people, it's best to take a bird's eye view and see everything all at once. Of gatherings, armies, farms, weddings and divorces, births and deaths, noisy courtrooms or silent spaces, every foreign people, holidays, memorials, markets, all blended together and arranged in a pairing of opposites. Marcus Aurelius often practiced an exercise called taking the view from above, or Plato's view. It invites us to zoom out and see life from a higher vantage point. By envisioning the millions of people, armies, farms, weddings, divorces, births, and deaths, we gain perspective and remind ourselves of how small we are. This reorientation changes our value judgments on things like luxury, power, war, and the everyday worries that become trivial. Seeing our smallness is just one part of this exercise. The other part is to tap into sympathia, the mutual interdependence with all humanity. As astronaut Edgar Mitchell described it, experiencing a real view from above in outer space creates a global consciousness and a compulsion to improve the state of the world. By taking a step back from our concerns, we remind ourselves of our duty to others. Let's take Plato's view. Seventh, memento mori, meditate on your mortality. Seneca once wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. The one who puts the finishing touches on their life each day is never short of time." The quote from Seneca touches on memento mori, an ancient practice of reflecting on mortality. Socrates said that true philosophy is about nothing else but dying and being dead. Marcus Aurelius echoed this in his meditations, urging us to let the awareness of our mortality guide our actions, thoughts, and words. Meditating on our mortality should invigorate and humble us, not depress us. This is why one of Seneca's biographies is titled Dying Every Day. Seneca advised reminding ourselves each night and morning that we may not wake up or sleep again, as a way to stay mindful of our fleeting existence. Epictetus also encouraged us to keep death and exile in our thoughts daily, to avoid base desires and maintain clarity. By regularly reflecting on these reminders, we can use them as a foundation for living fully and not wasting a moment. Eighth, premeditatio malorum. Seneca once wrote, "What is quite unlooked for is more crushing in its effect, and unexpectedness adds to the weight of a disaster." This is a reason for ensuring that nothing ever takes us by surprise. We should project our thoughts ahead of us at every turn and have in mind every possible eventuality instead of only the usual course of events. Rehearse them in your mind. Exile, torture, war, shipwreck, all the terms of our human lot should be before our eyes. The premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils, is a Stoic exercise where we imagine things that could go wrong or be taken away from us. This practice helps us prepare for life's inevitable setbacks. We don't always get what is rightfully ours, even if we've earned it, and not everything is as straightforward as we think. Psychologically preparing ourselves for this is crucial. This exercise is one of the most powerful in the Stoic toolkit for building resilience and strength. Seneca, for instance, would review or rehearse his plans, such as taking a trip. Then, in his head or through journaling, he would consider everything that could go wrong. A storm could arise, the captain could fall ill, the ship could be attacked by pirates. "Nothing happens to the wise man against his expectation," he wrote to a friend, "nor do all things turn out for him as he wished, but as he reckoned, and above all, he reckoned that something could block his plans." By doing this exercise, Seneca was always prepared for disruption, working that disruption into his plans. He was fitted for both defeat and victory. Ninth, amor fati. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "To love only what happens, what was destined, no greater harmony." The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche described his formula for greatness as amor fati, or a love of fate. He said we should want nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity, not merely bear what is necessary, but love it. The Stoics not only recognized, but embraced this attitude. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." Similarly, Epictetus, who faced numerous hardships as a crippled slave, advised, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happen the way it happens. Then you will be happy." Amor fati is the Stoic practice of making the best out of every situation. It means embracing each moment, however challenging, and turning obstacles and adversity into fuel for our growth and potential. If you liked our content, give us a like and share your opinion below. It cost you nothing, but it's meant a lot for us. If you want to know what is and what is not Stoicism, and to know the 4 core virtues of Stoicism and history's greatest leaders who have been inspired by it, listen to our previous video. The link is on the screen. Thank you for joining us on this Stoic journey. Until next time, may these practices transform your mornings, your days, and ultimately, your life.